Hi, buddy. Oh, yeah.
Well, here I go again for another beautiful evening flight. Hello everyone, thank you for tuning back in to Amos Shenanigans at the LZ. LZ standing for Launch or Landing Zone. In this episode, you will see as I fly over the outskirts of Holbrook, always keeping an eye out for a landing zone in case of an emergency, or what we like to call VFRs, Visual Flight Rules. As I depart from the Holbrook Airport, I quickly gain altitude and I'm heading west. Altitude up here is always our best friend because if there's an emergency and I need to pull my emergency reserve parachute, then I'll have enough time for it to deploy and not hit the ground. Again, as I'm heading west, right now my altitude is about 764 feet AGL. AGL meaning above ground level. My speed now is about 32 miles per hour with a nice tailwind because the winds are coming from the northeast and I'm heading west. The winds right now from the northeast are about between 5 and 7 miles per hour. So I'm really enjoying this speed right now. My plan for this evening in this flight is to take off from the Holbrook Airport facing northeast where the winds are coming from and making a U-turn over Navajo Boulevard. Now I'm heading west and I want to stay parallel to the runway that I took off from so that I avoid any aerial traffic coming in or coming out of Holbrook Airport. Once I get to about where the Maverick Adventure fuel station is, then it'll be safe for me to cut northwest heading towards the golf course. As I'm parallel to the 40 and I look down, I like waving at you guys. So don't be shy and wave back. Although it is harder to look down and see small people rather than look up, and you could see me easier than I can see you. So if I miss you, I'm sorry. As of right now, it is hard to see people at this altitude, but if I'm closer to the ground, I'll definitely be sure and wave at you if I see you. I definitely get a kick out of it as well as you do, and I really love when kids get really ecstatic and jump up and down and start waving at me. And hey, if anybody wants me to fly over their kid's birthday party, I'm more than willing to do that. I'm sure we can arrange something. It'd be fun just as much for me as it would be for them. And hey, maybe it'll be life-changing for them to see me fly over and shout their name, happy birthday. And of course, always if weather permits, that is a huge factor. I'd like to add that for us paramotor flyers, we don't fly midday. Midday is when the thermals and the land is the hottest, so the thermals are pretty strong and we don't want to get tossed up here. And the best time for us to fly is 2 hours after sunrise or 2 hours before sunset. The best wind conditions for us are between, say, about 3 to 7 miles per hour. Anything above that can get a little bumpy. Let me explain. But first, I want to mention that this is the Mormon church park or field where I was always for about 3 to 4, 5 months maybe, just practicing ground handling and getting to know my wing before I actually took any flight. Okay, back to my explanation. I'll try to make this as simple as possible. You always have wind speed, and when I go out, I like to check my wind speed versus my gust speed. I don't want the digits between wind speed and gust speed to exceed more than 5. Let's say I'm doing 5 miles an hour, just regular wind speed, and I'm cruising, and I get hit with a gust that's maybe 8 miles per hour. That's not so bad. But if I got hit with a gust that was 12 miles an hour, going from my wind speed being 5 miles an hour, then we're looking at a 7-digit difference, which can catch me off guard, can catch me by surprise. If I'm not actively piloting, which means that if I'm not holding on to my brake toggles and I get hit with a force that is a little too turbulent to control, then that can make for a bad day. So long story short, when I get up in the air, my wind speed versus my gust speed, I never want that gap to be more than 5 digits apart. This is why we also don't fly midday. Imagine if I'm flying midday when it's the hottest out and the land is warm and the thermals are kicking up. Now, thermals are considered to be like invisible tornadoes and they are all over. So imagine I'm flying and cruising midday and I go into one which picks me up, surprises me, and then I go through it and it drops me off on the other side. Imagine how bumpy that could be. So that's just not a fun ride, and that's why we stick to either 2 hours after sunrise or 2 hours before sunset when the conditions are calmer. When I first started getting into this, I didn't realize or didn't even know what a thermal was. But then I learned, hey, this is what the eagles use to go up in circles without flapping their wings once. They just glide all the way up effortlessly. Now here's the thing, if I was into paragliding, which I am, paragliding, you don't have a motor on your back. So you actually do fly in midday because you need the thermals to carry you all the way up to cloud base. If I am a paraglider, I don't and I can't take off from leveled ground. I need to climb up to a mountain. I soar off of it and I use the thermals to carry me up to cloud base. The beautiful thing about paramotors is you can take off from any leveled ground. You don't need to climb up to a mountain unless you wanted to. But here's the thing, with paramotors, you need to be out in a nice open clean field with clean air. And what I mean by clean air is you don't want wind coming from over obstacles like buildings or through trees or anything that is obstructing the wind coming at you. You will catch rotor and you'll never get your wing to come up straight. This rule also applies to when you are landing. You want to land into nice, clean, open wind, not wind that is coming from behind obstacles. Rotor can trigger a bad landing, but it's pretty manageable. It's not as bad as landing downwind. You always want to land towards the wind, not with it. Trust me, I've had my fair share of downwind landings, and they are not fun. If anybody wants information about getting into the sport of paragliding or paramotoring, don't be afraid to comment below and let me know what your thoughts are, and I can point you in the right direction to instruction or how to buy the right equipment. Okay, back to my flight. I'm trying to fly towards the sun right now. I'm having a little bit of trouble, but I'm heading towards the golf field or the golf course and hoping that it will be nice and lush and green, but it wasn't. So I quickly waved at these people that were jogging by and made a quick U-turn and headed back out. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and if you don't mind, please share if you find this content entertaining. And thank you for watching. So now, as I'm cutting around this golf course, I'm taking my time, but I'm trying to think, where can I go next? Now here I have enough time to decide where is the wind coming from, where is the wind taking me, and where do I want to go where I know I have to go back to the airport, and that's going to cause a headwind, which is going to make me get back slower. So now I decide to turn right and head south. I'm going to the TA truck stop that has the Popeyes restaurant in it. Let's go.
Stop at Popeyes.
As I'm approaching the station, I quickly realize that I'm losing time against daylight. So I turn around, wave at some truckers, and get back and head east towards the airport. I know I'm going to be fighting a headwind, so I need to start making my approach towards the airport and around the town. Now that I know that the sun has passed the horizon, here is the tricky part. I need to take my shoulder straps off, and I need to reach back and turn on my strobe light. The cool thing about the strobe light is I like how it shines up on the colors of the wing. The tricky part is that since I'm switching hands to get to the strobe light, I have to try to keep the RPMs at the same speed, but I fail at it and I come off the throttle and then I get back on it, and it makes for a bumpy ride. I finally hold it, I focus, I turn on the light, and then I get my straps back on and ready to keep going. this can get a little challenging when you got about 3 things going on in your mind. Good thing I'm really good at multitasking. And I don't know about you, but when I have my seatbelt off, I kind of feel naked, and that's what I felt like right now when I had my shoulder straps off. Lastly, I get my chest strap on and I keep going, but now, as you can see, I'm heading to the airport a lot slower, fighting that headwind. And as I'm fighting this headwind, I am trimmed out with my trimmers out, meaning that I changed the angle of attack of my wing to penetrate faster through the wind. It's still not getting me there fast enough, but I can't complain. I have the opportunity to do this, so I just sit back, enjoy the ride, and shut up. GoPro, did you get that? You know what I'm saying, dude? I think that's my only landing that I've gotten. Oh, that was a very nice flight. GoPro, stop recording.